In a quiet town, there lived a boy named Ryan who was smart, hardworking, and full of big dreams. Yet his mind never seemed to settle. Whether he was studying, working, or chatting with friends, his thoughts would drift off into useless daydreams. His parents and teachers often urged him to focus, but he couldn't keep his mind from wandering, whether it was replaying past mistakes or fretting about the future. One fateful day during an important exam, Ryan found himself staring at a blank answer sheet. Despite all the studying he had done, his thoughts slipped away, leaving him more preoccupied with trivial distractions than with the questions before him. When the results came in and he failed 2 subjects, disappointment filled his teachers, sympathy touched his friends, and his parents grew deeply anxious. That night, feeling utterly helpless in his room, Ryan was overwhelmed by the realization that his untamed thoughts were holding him back. Noticing his distress, his wise grandfather approached him. With tears in his eyes, Ryan confessed, "Grandpa, no matter how hard I try, my mind keeps drifting off and I can't concentrate." Smiling gently, his grandfather invited him to the backyard, where a large empty pot awaited. He handed Ryan a cup of murky water and asked him to pour it into the pot. Then, he presented him with a jug of clean water and instructed, "Now, slowly add this until the dirty water is pushed out." As Ryan watched the clear water gradually replace the murky liquid, his grandfather explained, "Your mind is like this pot. If you keep filling it with pointless thoughts, it will become polluted. But if you pour in good, meaningful thoughts, the negativity will be washed away." Curious, Ryan asked, "But Grandpa, how do I replace my wasteful thoughts with positive ones?" His grandfather then shared a story from long ago about a young warrior named Leo. Leo was brave and talented, yet his constant self-doubt haunted him. Before every battle, he was paralyzed by worries. What if he lost? What if his opponent was stronger? What if he was ridiculed? These doubts made him hesitate, and slowly his confidence withered away. One day, an old monk saw Leo musing in solitude and asked what troubled him. Leo confessed that his own thoughts were his biggest enemy, weakening him even before the fight began. The monk then handed him a half-filled cup of water, sprinkled in a pinch of salt, and asked him to drink. Leo immediately spat it out, shocked at the overpowering saltiness. The monk then took him to a vast lake and repeated the process. He added the same amount of salt to the lake's water and had Leo take a sip. This time, Leo found the water refreshingly pure. The monk explained, "If your mind is small, even a little negativity can overwhelm it. But if you make your mind as vast as a lake, no amount of doubt will affect you." Absorbing the lesson, Leo decided to stop dwelling on his fears. He filled his mind with courage and focus, practiced relentlessly, and ultimately became one of the greatest warriors of his land. Reflecting on both stories, Ryan realized that because he kept his mind small, wasteful thoughts easily took over. Determined to change, he began practicing mindfulness and meditation, setting up a strict routine that minimized distractions. Gradually, he replaced each stray thought with a purposeful one. His studies improved, his confidence grew, and in the next exams, he achieved the highest scores in his class. Years later, Ryan became a renowned scientist who inspired others to train their minds. Whenever asked how he overcame his unhelpful thoughts, he would smile and say, "Your mind is like a pot. Fill it with good thoughts, and there'll be no room for the useless ones. Like water, your mind adapts to whatever you pour into it. Focus, positivity, and discipline will always lead to success."